Do you have any questions on what I've presented here? Yeah, go ahead.
So what exactly is an acupuncture physician, and what kinds of things do you, like, how does your practice operate differently than a traditional
Medical office?
primary care physician?
Yeah, so a primary care office, this gets a little tricky because even some in private practice aren't quite primary care. Like, we have medical doctors that don't go into the hospital, they don't have hospital rights, and that basically makes them primary care if they can go into the hospital. But what I do is I'm working based on qi. And so this has it's a totally different way of thinking. However, this is the way medicine has been done for thousands of years. Western medicine has really only been around for a couple hundred. So it's just a completely different way of talking about the body. And again, we're encompassing the mind, body, and spirit. So let me give you an example. If somebody came into me for insomnia, this is a very heart symptom, like they just can't sleep at night, they can't shut the mind off. Typically, I'll go through a series of questions that will give me information whether it's too much yin, it's too much yang, or that just the yin and the yang are not talking to each other. And then I kind of look at where that's happening in the body. So once I've figured all of that out, then I give them a treatment with needles, and it's basically along the meridians and wherever they're affected. So what happens with that is that they start balancing out their body themselves, because I've just put something in the body that causes a reaction. And like I said, there's all these endorphins that are released in the body, it starts to produce things that heal itself. Once that happens, the person's more likely to say, you know what, like, I slept better and I didn't have that like fluttering in my heart when I got stressed out, and I don't seem to have the constipation anymore, and all of these other symptoms that kind of come as a result of that. This is like something that I've learned in Networking 101, that you're never supposed to say that you treat everything, but really I do. I don't ever treat a single condition. What I'm doing is balancing the body, and then the body is going to resolve its conditions. So even though I say that I work mostly with women's health, it's like I said, if somebody comes in for something that's physical, they bruise their elbow, you know, I'm going to start working on them. They're going to just say that they had a better state of mind for the next 3 days or something like that. So yeah, there's really no boundary to what we can and cannot treat. Anyone else? Yeah.
I just have it's something you addressed in the very beginning of your discussion. You made some sort of connection between dementia and
Yeah.
I was interested in that.
So right. So again, everything is mind, body, and spirit with Chinese medicine. So the heart, we call it the Shen, the mind. The heart controls the Shen. So it's the physical heart, which is your blood, your circulation, that sort of thing that we get. It also controls the mind. And so how the mind is functioning is a direct result of the heart's health. And then the other thing would be like the emotions, which is like completely separate than the mind. I know a lot of times it's sort of thrown in there, but in Chinese medicine they're separate. That would fall more under like the emotional, spiritual aspects. What's happening with like dementia and all that, you're losing receptors. So what that is, that connection, that energy that happens, that's a more yang function. But then you also have like the fat that's not getting nourished to the brain, that would be more of a yin. So you would see different symptoms in somebody who had more of the yang attributes. Like the yang would be a little bit more like our Joker. It'd be a little more like fired up and red complected, that sort of thing. The yin person would probably just feel like they'd have probably like dry skin. They'd be a little more like weak overall. Yeah. It'd be more like Eeyore. Yeah. Yeah.
So with the qi and the yin and yang.
Uh-huh.
So can you elaborate a little bit on that? I mean, it's probably good to know what kind of person you are, because I know the sign is,
Yeah.
and you have like this little dot of the other color.
Exactly. So so what that is, that little qi ball, the Tai Chi symbol, has black, which is going to be your more yin, your solid, and then it has the little dot of white, and then vice versa. So what that is that these two elements are represented within this universal life force. and they fuel each other. So that means that how it has that motion where they're running into one another, and then they have, like you said, that speck of the other. They can't exist without one another. So if you look at fire and water, yes, they can drown each other out, but there's also, like if you look at it like a boiling pot of water or something, there's a vapor that comes from that, right? So there's this mutual interaction, and like I said, they can't be without each other, but they also keep each other in check. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. Anyone else?
So what is your background, your educational background?
Yeah, so I first got a degree in communication studies. I basically went for my undergrad to play field hockey. That was my primary interest when I was graduating high school. And I did that, and it was great. We won a national championship. It was awesome. But anyway, so then after I got out of school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I started doing things like personal training and just kind of living like the crunchy granola life that I always felt I was prone to live. And then from that point forward, I started getting into acupuncture. And because I had a sports injury that I couldn't really recover from, I went ahead and I started getting acupuncture. It relieved the symptoms. It was wonderful. Other things started to improve, like my menstrual cramps started to just dissipate, that sort of thing. So then I came back down here to the Florida College of Integrative Medicine and studied acupuncture. So then I got another bachelor's and the master's in Oriental medicine. So yeah, that's how you become an acupuncturist. And you take board exams and all that scary stuff too. Yeah.